From the moment Celeste Donovan moved into Maplewood Estates, she turned heads. With her designer outfits, Chanel No. 5 perfume lingering in the air, and a Mercedes-Benz parked perfectly in her driveway, she looked like she belonged to a world far more glamorous than the quiet suburban neighborhood where the Holloway family lived. She was in her mid-30s, strikingly beautiful with long auburn hair that cascaded in soft waves down her back. Her emerald green eyes had a hypnotic quality, and she spoke in a soft, sultry tone that made people hang on to her every word. She could be a movie star, Emily Holloway often whispered to her husband Daniel as they watched Celeste from their porch. But Celeste wasn't just beautiful, she was charming. She had a way of making people feel special, as if she saw into their soul. Men were drawn to her effortlessly. Women admired her but also envied her, secretly wondering how she managed to stay so effortlessly perfect. Yet, for all her perfection, Celeste was a mystery. No one knew much about her past. She had no husband, no children, no family that ever visited. But she had secrets, and the Holloways would soon find out just how dark those secrets were. The Holloways were the picture-perfect American family. Daniel Holloway was a software engineer, a hard-working and dependable father in his early 40s. He had a gentle demeanor, always making time for his family despite his demanding job. His wife, Emily, was a kindergarten teacher, a woman with a warm smile and the patience of a saint. They had 2 children. Ethan, 16. A quiet, artistic teenager who preferred sketching in his notebook over playing sports. He had a reserved nature, a sharp mind, and a trusting heart. Lily, 10, an energetic, bright-eyed girl who loved riding her bike and baking cookies with her mum. Their house was a cozy 2-story colonial tale home with a white picket fence and a backyard big enough for Lily to run around in. Life was simple, happy, until Celeste entered it. It started with small things. Celeste always seemed to be around when Ethan was outside. At first it seemed innocent. She'd offer him a friendly smile, wave from across the street, or compliment his sketches. "You're incredibly talented, Ethan," she said one afternoon as she leaned over his sketchbook, her fingers lightly grazing the edge of the page. Her voice was smooth as honey. "You have an artist's soul, I can see it." Ethan blushed. No one had ever spoken to him like that before, especially not a woman as beautiful as Celeste. Emily and Daniel didn't think much of it at first. Celeste was friendly with everyone. She always had an easy, effortless way of making conversation. But then, the small things turned into bigger things. She started asking questions. "What kind of art do you like? Do you ever feel misunderstood? Do your parents appreciate how creative you are?" She made him feel special, seen. And Ethan, being a 16-year-old boy, couldn't help but feel flattered. Emily noticed first. One evening, while preparing dinner, she saw Celeste and Ethan talking in the driveway. At first it looked like a normal conversation, but then she noticed the way Celeste's hand lingered on Ethan's arm, the way she leaned in just a little too closely. Something about it felt off. "Hey, Ethan," Emily called from the porch, keeping her voice light. "Dinner's almost ready." Celeste turned, flashing her perfect smile. "Oh, don't worry, Emily," she purred. "We were just talking about art. Ethan's so talented, you must be so proud." Emily smiled back, but the moment Celeste walked away, she felt a knot in her stomach. That night, she turned to Daniel. "I think Celeste is a little too interested in Ethan." Daniel chuckled, shaking his head. "She's just being nice. You know how she is. She flirts with everyone." Emily wasn't convinced. Because what kind of grown woman flirted with a teenage boy? It was a rainy Saturday afternoon when it happened. Ethan had gone over to Celeste's house. He told his parents she wanted to show him some expensive art supplies she had lying around. At first, Emily wanted to say no, but Daniel reassured her. "She's a neighbor, we know her. It's not like she's a stranger." So Ethan went, and hours passed. At first, Emily tried to push away her unease. Maybe he got caught up in conversation. Maybe he was just enjoying the fancy supplies. But then it hit dinner time, and he still wasn't home. Emily picked up her phone, dialing Ethan's number. It went straight to voicemail. Her heart pounded. Without another thought, she grabbed an umbrella, threw on a jacket, and marched across the street to Celeste's house. She rang the doorbell. No answer. She knocked, harder this time. And then, finally, Celeste opened the door. She looked perfect as always, a silk robe draped over her shoulders, her auburn hair cascading in loose curls, a glass of red wine in her hand. "Oh, Emily," she said, smiling lazily. "What a surprise." Emily's stomach churned. Something wasn't right. "Where's Ethan?" Emily demanded, trying to peer past Celeste into the house. Celeste laughed softly, tilting her head. "Is resting." Emily pushed past her, and what she saw in the dimly lit living room made her blood run cold. Ethan sat on the couch, his shirt slightly unbuttoned, his face flushed. He looked disoriented, confused, like he'd just woken from a dream. A half-empty bottle of red wine sat on the coffee table. Emily's breath hitched. She turned back to Celeste, who simply smirked. "Relax," she said smoothly. "We were just talking." Emily snapped. "Then get up. We're going home." Ethan, still dazed, rose to his feet. He wouldn't meet her eyes. As Emily led him out the door, she could feel Celeste's gaze burning into her back. And in that moment, Emily knew Celeste Donovan was dangerous.